I'm going to pretend that I am T1000 here in Austin, and this is the day in life of how I function within the app once it's loaded onto my phone. Okay. Techs all live under the service app. Obviously, their service, and it's a picture of a truck. It's a rolling warehouse out there, okay? It's not just a service vehicle. It does have inventory on it, which belongs to the company. So the way I look at it from my standpoint, it's nothing more than a mini warehouse rolling around out there with inventory on it, okay? So this is a T1000 truck. This is what he sees when he logs into the system with his credentials. He only has the ability to get into certain things. Now the barcode scanner right there is grayed out because it just simply knows that I'm on a desktop. Okay. If I were on my phone logged in on a tablet or whatever it was like that, that would be highlight. It would not be grayed out. It would be able to be used. And then the camera on your phone serves as a barcode scanner. It's built into the software. Okay. So what can I see as a technician? What I can see is the pre-approved products that are approved for my truck and my shopping cart is what I can see. And it's indicated by that green check mark right there that tells you what's approved for you to use in here. Also, what this does is it tells you what the quantity is on that truck at all times. So this is a live snapshot of that vehicle and what's on there. What the system tells you is what's on the truck, not what's not on the truck. You're always telling us what you have, not what you don't have. Okay, that's the way the system looks at it. We want to know what is a dollar value on that truck and what are we running around out there with. Okay, so it always gives you that number off to the side here. And if we go back to the wheel, the next thing that we have right here in covering inventory, what this is actually taking physical inventory of your truck location. Okay, not the branch location. Remember, techs live in service, branches live in operation part of the app, completely different. So this is the life of a technician here. How do I add the count to my vehicle? By clicking the inventory app and then hitting the plus sign to add my inventory. This brings up the entire shopping list that's on my truck. I'm going to tell the system what I have by whole units, or what we're going to kind of set as a threshold here. We're going to say anything half or above, you still have a full one. Okay, anything half or below, you are out of it. So if you have a quarter of a bottle left of something, you're out of that product. Just tell us what you have. So if you've got 2 bottles to spin, one is full, one is a quarter, you only tell us you have one. So hopefully everybody understands that. You're only counting whole units. Now, for any reason, what the system does is it memorializes the previous inventory count. Okay, so always the week before. So for some reason, last week I counted 3 on my truck, and I go to take inventory again the following Friday, and now I only have 2. Then I would change that 3 to the number that I have on my truck. Okay, I don't leave it 3. I go ahead and deduct it and say, yep, I'm down to 2 for this week's inventory. I've used 2, so I'm down to 1 now. You tell us what you have weekly, not what you don't have. If the number has not changed at all, so I still have the 3 boxes that I originally had the previous week, then you just leave that 3 in there and you go on to the next one. Okay. So if you haven't used any, again, so everybody's clear, we don't change that number at all. It memorializes what you have. By submitting this inventory, it does not stack inventory on top of inventory. So if the previous week I had 372 MBs and this week I inventory again and I still have 3 and submit it, it leaves it 3. It doesn't change it to 6. Okay, so it doesn't keep adding on top of each other. It's simply telling us what we have on that truck. That's all it's doing. Okay. Another function of this, and how do I request inventory from the warehouse now to go onto my truck? How do I request that? I would go into orders. I would go into place an order. This is my shopping cart. This is how I request inventory from the branch. So it's very similar to shopping online. You're just going on there and you're saying, hey, I want a couple of these and I need one of those, and that's going to about do it for my truck. Okay. What a technician has the ability to do is to build a favorites list from this. Unfortunately, it is a long list. You can quick search it here by simply just typing in demand if that's what you use, and you can hit that little glass right there. Now everything is clicked. You can't just hit an enter button if you're on a laptop. Because it is a touch screen type, you have to go in there and touch it, okay? And that's the way it works. It works on all platforms. Unfortunately, it'd be nice to just hit enter and it would go straight to demand. It can't do that. I actually got to click that little hourglass if I'm on a desktop, okay? But you'll be requesting product from the warehouse through your phone, so it is all touchscreen, so it's not going to be an issue for technicians out there. So I would go ahead and submit that. What I have the ability to do too is create a favorites list. So if I'm a technician and I just keep using the same 6 products over and over and over and over again, I can create a favorites list by, there's a little faint star next to each one. By just checking that star right there, I can go ahead and build a favorites list and look at it every week, and it'll only bring up those 2 products that I'm looking at, okay? So you have that ability to build a quick favorites list if you want. We've built that in there for you. This is actually a brand new upgrade since we started this project with you guys, so this is kind of nice. It shortens that list a little bit for you guys. So what I did is you're going to get a weekly task for each technician. So what I did is I pushed out a manual task that you guys can see it today live on the screen. So basically what happens is a technician is going to get a weekly task notification with a 1 with a circle around that, and the system will automatically send that out. So with each branch manager, you get to decide what day and time that task goes out for them to do this. And you can also submit another task to submit order to the warehouse. So for technicians, you're going to see a app notification here under the task keyboard, task app. You also get aggravated by email. So not only are you going to get that task notification on your app, you're going to also get an email that says, hey, today is your day to take manual inventory, and it is also your day to submit an order to the warehouse. What we're trying to do with automation here is we're not trying to tell technicians they cannot have inventory. That's the last thing we want. We want them to be happy out there doing the job, not disrupting service. But we also don't want a branch manager constantly running to the cage to pull inventory. Those tasks need to be followed as they're assigned to you. It is a must. It's not negotiable. Once we set that day and time that it goes out to have that task completed, it must be completed. It cannot not get done. I can't stress that to technicians more. So what happens when I have an app notification there? I just simply click the task tab, and it says right there, I must take manual inventory of my truck. By clicking this arrow off to the right there, it will automatically launch your cart to take manual inventory. That's the only step you have to do, okay? And if we send out the submit order task right behind it, because we're doing manual, we're not doing fully automation right now until we roll that out, you will have a submit order task as well. And once you click that arrow, it will automatically launch your shopping cart to pull from the warehouse, okay? Here's what I'll stress to each manager and every technician out there. Everything must run through the app. There are no laters, okay? If you need something, I have built these things in for you. So we understand that services are very dynamic. If you just got thrown on 2 new restarts for a technician, we're not telling you can't have product and you're only designated to that day to pull inventory. We know that you have to come to the cage that day to pull inventory for that day. So how is that done? We have built into the system what's called an as soon as possible order. That means I am standing at the cage with Ross, and Ross is saying, you need to put the order in for what I'm about to give you. How is that done? A technician goes to his order tab. He goes to add order. And again, I'm going to go ahead and file through one, guys, so you can all see this. And let's just say I needed 2 glue boards because some new starts had mice, and I need glue boards to go get this done. So I am standing there with Ross, and I'm going to pull 2 boxes from the warehouse. I go ahead and go down, and I want to preview what I'm about to pull. 2 boxes. There's a box right here that says as soon as possible. I need it right now. Not my designated time and day that I was tasked to do, but I'm going to pull it today before I leave here because someone added some customers to my route. I'm going to check ASAP. What's going to happen is Ross is going to get a different email in a different color that says, this is an ASAP order. This is not the scheduled day and time to pull inventory from the warehouse. And then I would go ahead and submit that. So your order has been submitted. This is a tech view. Now I have a current order sitting here to be pulled from the warehouse. Okay. So if I'm standing there with Ross and he hands it to me, I'm going to go ahead and open that order up. I'm going to say, yep, it's all there. And I'm going to go ahead and receive it onto my truck, and it's reconciled at that point. I can't follow through this order because there's no inventory in the system yet. So it won't let me follow through it. It'll tell me, sorry. So this is actually probably a good lesson here to look at. If I come to the warehouse and I try to receive something that is no longer current in the warehouse, it's going to tell me there's not enough inventory in the warehouse, so I can't reconcile my truck because it wasn't given to me. This keeps technicians from just filing through an order if they never got it. Ultimately, technicians, you guys have now become part of the inventory solution, and you're helping manage inventory at this time. So it's critical that you inventory your truck and you submit orders through the app, and you only reconcile what you've gotten and what you've requested and complete those things. This is, again, I'm stressing this over and over. This is not trying to limit the amount of inventory you can pull from the warehouse. It's just making us more aware of what needs to be ordered for the branch so that you do not run out of what you have in there. And I always tell this story. When I ran my company, I had guys that would drive across town, get to a customer's house, call me and tell me that they didn't have what they needed on their truck to get the job done. Nothing drove me crazier than that. So this is going to stop that from happening. So if I know as a branch manager that you're pulling inventory on that day and time to go out into the field, I know you have what you need on your truck. It's just making visibility. It's putting everything in the windshield and not in the rearview mirror. Okay, we're not guessing anymore what's happening. Ultimately, guys, you guys are now responsible for the inventory on your truck. Okay, by becoming part of the inventory solution, you are now responsible for the inventory in your truck. Because what we look at now, guys, and where all this is leading is cost to route revenue. So technicians, just so you know, the standard KPI for cost to route revenue nationally is about 6%. You should only be using about 6% of what you brought in as far as revenue goes. When you start running 23, 25%, we just look at a label change. Do we need to retrain? Are we over applying? And if it's too low, if it's 3% or 2%, are we not applying enough? Is our callback rate too high? It really gives a branch manager a good look and insight on what's happening out in the field. Or it could just be a type of region. Let's just say you're a tech that is running 18%, but we know you're in a high scorpion area. We just know you're going to go through more chemistry, and we're just battling that area. It really starts to segregate those routes into what's happening out there so that we can make a good educated guess, or not a good educated guess. It wouldn't be a guess at that point. Is it the chemistry or is it the tech? What's happening? Well, we have two techs in the same type of geographical area, and one has a high callback rate and one doesn't, but yet they're running the same KPI, 6%, then we know that it's something going on with those structures. So it may, again, go back to doing a quality control ride along to go, hey, let's go look at this together. It's just another set of eyes to kind of help shed light on what's happening out there in the field. It just gives us a really good insight. So techs, I want you to know that we did not develop this or we're launching this because this is Big Brother looking over your shoulder. It's not. It's helping us become more efficient as a company and really using and utilizing our chemistry the way it was intended by label rate and stuff like that. Okay, so that's what this was designed to do. So that's the life of a technician there. Okay, you only live in those four apps right there. That's all you got to do. Be sure, I cannot stress to you more, techs, this task does not go away until it's been completed. It does not pile task on top of task. So if I set up automation for today for this task to go out and another one goes out on Friday, it does not send you another notification for Friday because this original task has not been completed. We know your truck's not reconciled yet. So it's important that you inventory that truck on the day and time that you were assigned to do that. A branch manager always sees when a truck has been received and not. So this is the operational part of it. So a branch manager will always know this list should always be empty. If a truck's been reconciled all the way through, so techs, if you've completed all of the tasks that you needed to do, Ross should never see anything on this list. it should be completely blank all the time. If I see something hanging out here, say back in February 15th, and I still got a January 26th order sitting here, that means T1000 has not been reconciled since that date. Okay, so everything becomes visible. You always want this list to be empty. Okay. And again, Tex, this is just for accountability of making the proper purchases for the branch so that we don't over purchase. Again, you're part of the inventory solution now. We want to stop overbuying chemistry based on speculation. We want to buy chemistry based on demand in the field. Okay. And we know that these things are dynamic. We know in the summertime things ramp up. Obviously, we're going to go through more chemistry. In the wintertime, it's going to ramp down. We know we use less. Okay. We change our protocol. Let's just say we have a chemical rotation. So Tex, don't be alarmed if you no longer see, let's say, Avion cockroach gel on your shopping cart list. That just means the company decided to go to, say, OptiGuard gel or something like that. If you still have some on your truck and it's not on your list, use out what you have. Don't switch to the new product until you've used what you have on your truck. Okay, that's the reason we do manual inventory. But what's going to happen is once everybody hits zero, that's when we make the product change. We're never going to leave you hanging fire out there with nothing on your cart, because once we remove it, it's no longer in your inventory list to take your inventory. Okay, but we want you to use out what you have, then we'll make that transition.